What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilk, and this is where I admit how lazy I am anymore about 7th Zone. But I did tell you guys during the anniversary, like, I thought there was a really good team you guys could build now. For those of you that weren't here for the 4th anniversary, a just genuinely, like, decent, all-round, could crush any, like, 7th Zone event auto-run team. And I think I've got one here. Now, if I'm honest, there are better units that you can use in place of Finn, Helga, and Galamus. Now, the main reason I'm using Galamus is so you don't have to use stun anklets or anything like that. Galamus really takes care of most of the stunning. The only problem would be with Finn when he comes in, he would need a stun anklet. That means you only need 1, you don't need 4 of them. So that's the real only reason he's on this team. But the other thing to really consider here, and this is a big factor in this, I have this Felice here to give us some single target damage, but as it turns out, we don't actually need her. So I'm actually going to swap her out with the Haruhime. I believe it's this unit. Yeah, this unit. The Wedding Dress Haruhime, who does SA Gauge charging, because that, I think, is going to be a better play than having the single target damage. As it turned out, the single target damage was a bit overwhelming. So I'm going to make this minor change here, and I'm actually to put her on Fianna. Well, no, actually, take that. I'm going to keep her on there, because the thing is, she does boost damage, but yeah, Erebus has, well, actually, no, his physical attack isn't much better. So I'm going to do, I'm going to put Erebus on Lazar, and I'm going to put Apollo on over here, because Apollo has a really good physical attack. Like, his physical attack is off the chain. In fact, I could probably put her. So I'm using this Aphrodite. I know she's not a newer unit, but she's been around. She was time limited from last year, so a lot of people aren't going to have her. But we do have other units that do what she does. She is an AoE, and I think we recently got a power creep on AoE. If we don't, we're going to get one really soon. But I think that's the... Once again, if we don't, we haven't had it, we're going to get one really, really quick. So you can just swap her out with whoever you have that does AoE damage. But I'm really using her for the AoE damage. And I am using Finn, though if I'm honest here, guys, if you have maxed Ali, Ali's a better choice. But I don't have Ali maxed. I actually kind of skipped that banner a little bit. So here's the deal. If you've only, like, invested in the anniversary, you can trade out Finn for, because Finn was last year's unit, Finn and Erebus and Aphrodite all could be swapped out with more modern units. But really, what I'm doing here is I'm debuffing light resistance. So light resistance debuffing. I'm giving 33% SA gauge charge with him, and with Aphrodite, I'm doing the AoE debuff. Now, you could swap those out with any units you have that do that. It would be fine. They don't even have to be as beefy as these units. Erebus can be swapped out with any 15% unit. Same with Aphrodite. And you don't necessarily need the SA gauge charge. It just makes things go faster. So even if you don't have Ali, really you can just, then put, single target there for Felice or whatever you got. But that's pretty much how the assist side of this is built. Now, because I do have Galamus here to do the stun resistance, that means everybody else here is just running whatever their best, like we're either using breastplates or, whatever else we pretty much have. Now, here's what I'm going to say. This might be like the Achilles heel of this team. That's, we really do have kind of like 2 single target things going on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on 1 unit in the front, and we're going to go ahead and do the buff here with Lazar, with Earth Lazar, Light Lazar. We're going to do his AoE attack. Now, Galamus, once again, we're going to do skill 3. That's going to give everybody stun resistance. And Fianna, we're going to do skill 3. That gives everybody SA gauge charge and a few other buffs. So that's turn 1. Turn 1's pretty straightforward, right? Now, Galamus leaves. Everybody on the team at least of current, has stun resistance, which is going to be great. Now, at some point, I do feel like they're going to return. They did it once. They did it, like, I think, like once 2 years ago, and I wouldn't be shocked if they did do a return to the double ailment seventh zones. If they do, and I kind of hope they do, honestly, then what you'd want to do is you'd want to then put whatever the secondary ailment is, put their anklets on these units. So if they do like stun and seal, then obviously you put seal anklets on everybody, and then find a way to weather the stun here. But nevertheless, that's pretty much how this is built up. It's kind of a nice run here. Now, the Light Lazar at this point, or sorry, the Earth Lazar at this point, is basically gonna go down the row here. So every one of our opponents should have a strength buff now. And that strength buff basically means that Lazar is going to get 120% attack damage. So he's going to be hitting stupid hard from this point going forward. He's going to be hitting stupid hard. So we're basically just going to spam his skill 3, right? Now, Light Lazar is going to keep doing his skill 2, at least for this turn. Helga's going to come in. She's going to do her skill 2, and the whole point in hers is to get the physical resistance debuff on all of our foes. Now, you will notice we're not running Haruhime, because we'll use Light Lazar for the heals if we need them. But I'll be honest with you, we haven't really needed them so far. So it is what it is. Now, that's probably because my team is fully max limit broken, and I understand that. I get that. But if you find that you do need heals, use Light Lazar's third skill. It's fine. There's enough MP regeneration in Light Lazar himself, as you'll see in a moment, that he can pretty much handle any situation. Now, Fianna. Fianna's going to go to her skill 2. I know her skill 1 is better, but her skill 2 is just basically going to hit everybody. It's an all opponents attack, and it's just going to make life so much simpler. Okay? And the whole goal here is to build a skill flow that we can then spam, and then just spam consistently. So, that's the goal. Here we go. Now, we're going to go ahead and do her skill 2 here. And that's pretty much turn 2. Okay? Now, this is where it kind of becomes weird. And I would still argue this is spammable. But what I did for my runs, and this is just personal preference for my runs, is because Lazar's going to be hitting one unit and one unit alone, he really is single target. That is the one caveat to him. Now, you could put Haruhime on the team here. You get things a little bit faster. But I really wanted to do it without Haruhime for one very good reason. I'll kind of show you that here in a moment. But basically, he's just going to spam this skill. So because of that, I'm going to target another unit. That way, because it's single target, it's just going around the board. Now, the best part about this is when you have a single target opponent, he does all the work. Like, he puts in all of the work. So you build the skill flow, and you can use this for either AoE situations or single target situations. So I'm just going to go over here, target the secondary unit. Now, because Finn finally came in here, the Light Lazar is going to use his skill 3. Finn's going to use his skill 3. These are all big buffs. And Fianna's going to use her skill 3 a second time to give the SA gauge charge to Finn. Plus, next turn she'd have to rebuff it anyway, because remember that secondary attack she gets is what does the... her secondary action is what does the buff and debuff replication. So if I turn icons on again here for a moment, all of these skills here are basically going to need to be rebuffed and reevaluated. So I'm going to turn that off, though, for the time being, because it's going to make targeting my opponents here a little bit easier. So basically, everybody's doing their skill 3. I'm just targeting a new foe. Pretty straightforward. Now, the goal here is to build up to a triple SA. Triple SA is exactly where we want to be. That's the sweet spot. That's going to basically let us set up exactly what we want to do here. All right? So, now, I'm running a little low on MP here, so I'm going to do just a base attack with Fianna for a couple of turns. Light Finn, on the other hand, is going to do his skill 2. That's his big AoE attack. It does light resistance down. It does all single target resistance on all your opponent, or all your allies. Not that you need it, but it'll help a little bit. Light Lazar is going to go do his single target attack. And this is where I say this gets a little bit weird. But actually, I'm going to go ahead and just do his AoE here. I'm going to see if his AoE works out. So what I did is I used his single target for MP regen. But instead of doing her base skill here, I'm going to see if this works out. Because the goal here is a triple SA, and triple SA is not that far off. And after that, we just kind of do need her... Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just do MP regen for a couple of turns. Now, this is why I say you want to target someone new each and every single time. And the reason being is because not only is Earth Lazar hitting single target, Light Lazar now is too. Now, in fairness, you could wipe out one opponent, and if you just want to auto-run this, it'll be fine. My problem is I kind of feel like the water team is still going to be faster than this team. But, we'll build this team out, we'll see how this team goes, I'll save this team, and then we'll race the water team with them real quick. So, single target with these two, AoE with Finn, and base attack with Fiona, just because I need to build Fiona's MP back up. Whole reason is because her skill 2 is 111 MP cost, and I get it off like once, maybe twice if I was super lucky before we run out. So I want to wait till after the triple SA and keep those AoEs for that particular moment. So that's turn 4. Now this seems a little bit weird. And it kind of is. It really is kind of a wonky situation. But the reality here is our goal is to build a skill flow that we can just spam and just go ham on. So I'm going to go ahead and target a new unit here. And I'm just going to keep with that same tactic. And basically I'm going to work my way all the way up until I have the triple SA, which actually should be the end of next turn. Which would be perfect. That would actually be super perfect. So Fiona's extra attack should be running out. Yeah, it'll run out this turn, which is okay because it would be preferable to do the SA in this turn. But the way I have this team built, that's not really possible. There is a way to do it. Like there's ways to cheese that, but then it wouldn't be a spammable skill. So I'm gonna go back and just target one unit here. Let these two do their thing. Let these two do their thing. I'm actually gonna go back and do her base attack one more time. Just because we're going to do a triple SA here. And the skill flow is actually built for a quad. I just found personally that a triple does better, and I'll actually show you why here momentarily. Okay? So you notice that our opponent in the front here has taken the vast majority of the damage. And the honest answer is if you were spamming single targets, he'd probably be dead by the time you get to this point. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, just not preferable, but because you want to kind of spread out the damage as much as possible. Now, in fairness, the goal is an auto run. So we're going to test this with an auto run in a moment, and we're going to race with the water team and see what happens. So I'm going to do an SA here with Earth Lazar. This is the reason I love Earth Lazar so much. He already does Earth physical damage 100% for each target, skill effect that increases single target attack. Now, we only have one of those, so he's not going to hit stupid hard. The other thing to consider here, and I was using Aphrodite, and that's the one thing I forgot, is that Lazar's skill is going to be killer. So actually, it would be in my best interest to trade Aphrodite out with somebody that does both AoE and single target, which I completely forgot. That's why I was running Felice. So in hindsight, that actually would be a better thing to do. I'm sure somebody was already screaming that. But honestly, AoE is kind of our we're doing more AoE attacks than we're doing single target attacks anyway. So, but really debuffing both wouldn't be a bad deal. He's just not going to do as much damage as he could do, but his number one thing he's here for is that strength plus 120%. That is huge. That is absolutely enormous. And because he's an attack skill and he's single target, that means that with that skill in play, I could use this for single target or AoE situations. It will still do damage across the board. It'll be great. Okay, Light Lazar is really, really, really good. Does light attack damage. He does physical and magic resistance, but we don't really need that for 7th zone, so he's really here mostly for the light attack damage. Now, Finn would be fun to use, but here's the deal. All of his debuffs, his SA gauge charge is really nice, but we don't need it necessarily, and all of his debuffs kind of work on one opponent, so I'm going to keep him doing an AoE attack. That means he's going to have 120% strength, 100% light damage, And he's not going to get a percentage buff, but it is a super class attack, and it's a really good attack, so we do want to kind of keep that in play. Finally, we've got Fianna. And remember, I was doing the base attacks with Fianna, so we built up her MP. This is why we built up her MP, okay? This is the whole reason we built up her MP. Now, she does 80% MP heal here, so honestly, I could have done more with her MP. I probably would have been fine, because she's actually at about 80% here. But it doesn't really matter, because she's not going to produce a huge amount of damage up until this point. So, honestly, it is what it is. It's however you want to handle that situation. But we got a triple SA, and let's see what happens here. Now, Lazar's going to come out of the gate. He's going to hit pretty decently. 5 mil. Light Lazar, let's see what he gets. Ooh, those were good hits. And Fianna. Remember, Fianna gets 100%. Ooh. Damn, girl. That's not really fair, because she is a beast killer. So that was a bit of an unfair run. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save that skill flow, okay? And we're going to do another run, but we're just going to auto-run that, okay? So let's skip out of this, and let's go back over here where they're not at advantage, okay? They're not at an advantage here, and they should be pretty okay. So I'm literally just going to auto-run this and wait and see what happens. Now, in fairness, when they do their essays, I'm going to have to turn off auto-run, and I'm going to have to basically rebuild the skill flow so they're all doing AoE attacks. But let's see what happens here. Because this also means that our single-target units are attacking only one opponent. Okay. There we go. There we go. And once again, I'm kind of second-guessing myself here, because I think Fianna probably could get away with doing an extra AoE attack or two. So you can play with that and see how it feels to your team. But let's go ahead and see here. Now, once again, as I said, the front unit is taking all the damage. But since we don't have a killer skill here, we're not taking as much, we're not producing as much, but we are still, chugging along. Couple turns, we should get our SAs. And I can promise you we're not going to kill in the SA this time, so you don't have to worry about that. The only time we would actually kill an SA is, once again, when we have the advantage, the either type advantage or killer unit advantage. That's about the only time we're actually going to get the kills off. All right, so here we go. Lazar's SA. Boom. Notice our front unit is almost deceased. Light Lazar's SA. And Fianna's SA. But the front unit is deceased. He's oh my god. Okay. So actually I take that back. So we still did a turn 7 kill, which I really was not expecting. So I was not thinking we'd be that quick. So we got 22 million. And once again, I could probably manipulate this skill flow a little more. I'm going to go ahead and save this team real quick. And I'm going to save this as... that is, 7th zone single target win. So I'll just save that, and I'll rename it later. And then I will actually call up the water team here. Because I've got them right here. I just need to call them up with all their equipment. So this is the team we built last year. So I'm curious if this is still a better win. And this team even has like cracks in the build from when we built it literally over a year ago. So there are better units out there now. But once again, I want to try this team, see which team is better, which team is faster, and which team actually gets the job done. Now, the one thing about this team that makes them really deadly is that both Mikoto and Aisha get really good percentage boosts on their attacks. Mikoto's single target, Aisha's AoE. So it was the first team we could really build that was all-encompassing, could wipe out any 7th zone, no problem, no sweat. But now I'm curious. And the thing is, I'm going to have to probably go in here and manipulate this a little bit, because I think they're built for a quad SA, just for ease and simplicity. So I'm going to try with a triple and see if they can do a kill with a triple. Okay, we'll see how quickly they build up. Once again, they might be a little bit slower. I really don't know. I honestly do not have an idea. All right. Okay, we're doing pretty good here. They actually might be a little bit slower in the SA charge, more I'm really pondering this. Or maybe not. They actually might not be. The other team's a little bit faster, but I wonder if we're really that much faster. It might be if I was using Haruhime and did Haruhime's SA early on. That might be a thing. But once again, the goal isn't necessarily to build, you know, a team to speed through it and rule them all. We're building a team to, like, more or less just all-encompassing, you know, bash through the event. So, here we go. So, Haruhime, strict magic 120%. Belle's going to do water attack damage, and Aisha's going to get an 80% buff. Mikoto's still going to stick to her single target attacks. That's all she does. Basically, she is for this team kind of what Earth Lazar is for the other one. But we still require Haruhime, and this is the real downside of this team, is that Haruhime is not a damage producer, where Earth Lazar is. Now, Earth Lazar is single target, but he kind of, once again, fills a combination of the role that Haruhime does and Mikoto does. So this other team actually has more damage producers, so it maybe has more potential. In fact, yes. Shockingly, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say the new team is faster. So there you guys go. That is it. The new team is 100% quicker than last year's water team. I was starting to question it. I was really, really worried about it. But yeah, no, the new team is phenomenal. And I think it's that extra attack unit that really, really, really pulls it off. Now, their skill flow is all out of whack now because I said they're built for a quad SA. But the new team doesn't need a quad SA. Triple kills everything in sight. So there you guys go. Let me know what you thought in the comments section down below. Now you have a team that can do it. And there's even some modifications you can personally do to make your team even better and even more deadly. And if you've been playing the game for a while, there's even better units like Lafolia from the previous crossover and all that stuff that you could put in place of Light Finn. There's, like I said, a bunch of assist units you can use that are better. So you can build a better team than even I built very quickly, very easily. So let me know what you guys thought. Like, comment, share. Good luck on all your 7th zones. Now you can auto-run them with absolute ease. If you did, you owe me a like. And I'll see you guys on the next one.